Death Stranding 2 is coming out in a few weeks, and I gotta be honest, the more I see of the game, the less I kinda want to play it. The first game, in my opinion, was average across the board. The properly rated at around, 6s and 7s, but was wildly popular due to its, similarities during COVID and the fact that it was Hideo Kojima's first game since leaving Konami. I platinumed the original game. Did literally everything you could possibly do in that game. The amount of zip lines I had across the map to get me up and over those damn snowy mountains was insanity. All the side activities like delivering pizza in a slightly harder way multiple times, I did it. Every single racetrack, first place, baby. And yet I still don't find the game that fun to play. The story was batshit, but it sprinkled in so much interesting cutscenes every now and then that it just kept piquing my curiosity enough where I just wanted to keep playing. It was like a weird relationship I had with the game. I probably should have just watched a full movie of it, like on YouTube, but alas, like my OCD brain compelled me to platinum this game, whether I loved it or just liked it. And I did. I just didn't think it was the greatest thing ever just because it came from the mind of Hideo Kojima. Fast forward a few years, and we now have Death Stranding 2 right around the corner. And it's essentially the same game again. A big empty open world you have to traverse carefully while transporting packages back and forth until the next story cutscene happens and relieves you of its boredom. See, the main difference in this game is the supposed increase of combat gameplay. In Death Stranding, the last thing you wanted to do was engage in combat. You wanted to avoid every enemy possible lest they ruin your delivery. The only time it was slightly fun was when you were transported to battlefields where, you would fight Cliff, Mads Mikkelsen and his soldiers until you can leave. And even then it wasn't great because the main part of the game is walking, not fighting. We've had interesting trailers here and there showing off the characters and story and the location of the second game, but not too much gameplay. Gee, I wonder why that is. Well, Hideo Kojima said it himself at the Death Stranding 2 press event hosted by Jeff Keighley that he had to, where he had to skip ahead multiple times during the demo, as in his exact words, quote unquote, "It's a delivery game. I want to show the delivery process, but you might be bored. Of course, playing it is fun. Watching it is different. Remember, this is a delivery game," end quote. Now, I'm sorry, Mr. Kojima. It really isn't that more engaging doing it yourself than watching it. It's boring kind of either way. Now, Jeff, Hideo's #1 fan, was just glazing him the entire time. I felt kind of uncomfortable, like a third wheel at someone else's date. We then get one of the game's early boss fights to show something different than just constantly walking around, which features, the not Solid Snake character, Neil. This was a sequence with some really great, visual spectacle. It had, a battleground, and there was, fireworks spinning on wheels, and, Neil, the Solid Snake, not Solid Snake, was warping around with his soldiers. But anyone who's played the first game will find it all very reminiscent of the fights with, Cliff, Mads Mikkelsen's character. I know this is a direct sequel. I was just hoping for something a bit different. In a way, it's like an expansion to the first game. Same stuff, same themes, same gameplay, just in a slightly different open world environment. We've also got to finally see a new cutscene with, Elle Fanning's character, Tomorrow, in action. And let me tell you, if you're a feet guy, I guess Kojima he might be. They are on full display here as, she takes off her shoes and the camera zooms in on her feet and they start sinking into the ground and she gets covered in tar and she starts systematically and swiftly taking down the enemy soldiers, by Sam. It all looks great. And you can clearly see how all the interesting cutscenes and characters and Kojima's unique visual style and flair, it can work. And how well it can translate to say a movie, which is indeed in development. There is a Death Stranding movie in development. It's just for a game that's going to be 60 plus hours long, and the majority of that time is once again going to be walking or driving or running or ziplining across a barren wasteland of an open world until the next interesting thing happens to motivate you to keep playing. I hope I'm wrong, as I still liked the first game enough. It was an interesting concept, and to play it during COVID was I don't know, it was like letting something into your life that was like so, it related to you in such a way, and it just came out of nowhere. It was unique. So despite that, I hope I'm wrong, despite my criticisms, of the first game, that there is something fun. There is something fun buried deep in the first game, and supposedly this game as well. It's buried deep in its systems. It just rarely comes out to play. Anyways, thanks for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, all of that good stuff. Until next time, talk to you later.